So you want to be a day trader. Prepare to go through hell in the beginning. It's kind of like temporary misery in your mind for multiple hours after you fuck up 100 times over the first year, let's say on average. Some people get trading a little bit earlier. Let's say they get a strategy, right? And then they use demo, and then they go live within 6 months. That's the sooner side of things. More realistically, probably a year. And some people, it takes them multiple years, like 5, 8 years. Like I know somebody who's been doing it for 8 years and still hasn't done it full time. That's the extreme thing. So 6 months is the low extreme. 8 years is the longest. I guess it could take longer, but at that point, fuck, you might as well just do something else. Probably not going to be a trader based off probability, but you never know. The determined will continue and become traders. But, so I'll tell you how mine went. It took me, so first I just watched the market, and I took trades the first couple of weeks, but I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I remember I took this one short, and I don't think I even had a stop loss. I'm not even sure how I entered. I just pressed sell, and I wasn't even sure if that was shorting it. So I just pressed sell, and then I just happened to be in a downward phase of a market, like temporary couple days. So of course I won the trade, right? As a beginner trader would. And then they think they are a trader. And I remember I went upstairs to my brother and I was like, yo, did you take that trade? You just take that short, dude? And first of all, I was way too excited about it. That's the first problem looking back. And then second of all, he said, dude, you're not a trader. After I hit the trade and he didn't take it because he probably knew more, or he knew more at that time, obviously, for sure. And that stuck with me until, I mean, it's always going to stick with me when he said that because I really wasn't a trader, but I thought I was. That's like the crazy part. But I just started a couple weeks ago at this point. So this is 2024, April. I actually started March 28th, I believe is my first screenshot of a chart that I took. So I didn't even have a computer that could run the platform, Thinkorswim or Tradeovate. So I had to buy a computer. That's another story. It's pretty funny though. So I was on a demo account for 6 months. Yeah, 6 months on a demo account. That brings me to about October of 2024. And then I went live. So that's when Trump got in. So I happened to actually be somewhat profitable the first couple of months into the end of the year of last year, 2024, right? And then the new year came and all the tariff bullshit and all of just the bullish hype. It's like if you bought in November and you just held, you were going to win, right? So I had a bunch of good longs, good long trades. So then the new year came. And then I would say from January until October, really, which is just the crazy part about it. I was just kind of break even trading. I was kind of waiting for some type of like profit phase. But looking back, the problem was it didn't have a true edge. And that's why it's so key to have an edge and have a playbook. So now I have a playbook and I have two setups and they're very clear. Like I remember people saying, if it doesn't seem clear to you that it's your edge, then it's probably not. Like if you have to think about it, it's probably not your edge. And that is true. Now that I have an edge, that is definitely true. It resonates with me. If I look at a trade, now I can tell that's not my edge, or very unlikely there's going to be a trade today, or yeah, if it comes to here, this is my trade for sure. So yeah, it took me that's about a year and a half, a year and 6 months, about yeah. So for me, it took a year and a half. For someone else, it might take 3 years, 4 years. Someone else, maybe it's 8 months. It really depends on when you get your edge, and you really know when your edge comes. Because if you don't have an edge, nothing else matters. Your psychology doesn't matter, because you can't blame taking a trade on FOMO, which is fear of missing out, revenge trading, thinking the market's after you, right? Just over trading. You can't blame any of it on, well, like being frustrated, disappointed, whatever. Can't blame it on psychology if you don't have an edge. If you have an edge, then you can blame it on psychology. But you can't blame it on psychology until you really know when you're even trading. So that's something else that's super key that you need to know if you want to become a trader. You have to get an edge. You're going to waste a bunch of time and a bunch of frustration and misery and crazy ups and downs in your mind, thinking you got it, and then you lose 4 times or 5 times in a row, and then you get a winning trade. You're like, yeah, I got it. I just had to wait for that winner, and then you lose like 3, 4, or 5 times in a row. At some point, as long as you have a good edge, because that's a pretty shit win rate, right? If you have a good edge, hopefully it's higher than 10, 20% win rate, right? So if it's a 10, 20% win rate, you're probably taking trades that you shouldn't be, unless you just have some crazy short or small stop loss and you're going for these massive winners with a 10% win rate, something like that, you know? I'm sure there's somebody out there that is doing that. And then there's someone else who's got an 80% win rate or something like that, right? And just goes super conservative, big stop loss, 1-to-1s, shit like that, you know? And the other guy, the 10% win rate guy, is going for 1-to-30s. So that's the extremes, but I think most of us are somewhere in the middle, right? Going for 1-to-3s, 1-to-5s, 6s, something like that, right? So what I want to say is, if you're going to start trading, you need an edge. And prepare to go through misery in the beginning, because it's most likely going to happen. Like, my brother had a much harder time than me because he switched strategy a lot. He was a strategy hopper. That's what we call him. Going to 4 different strategies. Just a bunch of waste of time. It's a waste of time, you know? So I stuck with one strategy. I stuck with the 5-minute chart. I modified as I went, and I had these clicking moments as I went. My biggest clicking moment was when I got a playbook. So you absolutely need a setup. Write it down on paper. Have a playbook. Have 1, 2, maybe 3 setups. It's all you really need. And then see how often it pops up. And the more you look at the market, the more confidence you have in being patient, not trading on certain days. But then when that trade comes, you know, this is my setup. I'm taking this trade. So, and you'll have an idea of how often it tends to pop up, what type of market conditions your edge works in. Like, for my edge, consolidations are fantastic because there's a lot of key levels and a lot of trend lines. When it's really bullish, it's actually bad for me. So, from my edge, maybe it's great for you. Maybe you're a breakout trader. You got to see what your personality is attracted to as you're watching whatever pair that you're watching, which is just in whatever asset you're trading, basically.